Jeez, what was that bright sunlight? Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I am of course back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 64 DS for the Nintendo DS. So last time we have basically just managed to able to conclude, well, almost every single missions in terms of Womp's Fortress alongside with the forms of Jolly Roger Bay, because as you can tell, that we've almost pretty much concluded those two worlds in particular, because there are some requirements later on though, which is to be more specifically, we need to able to unlock, you know what I mean, Luigi and Wario eventually at some point in the future. But for now, today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be hit on to the next world, which is Cool Mountain. For the longest time, that particular world is actually by far my favorite world in the whole entire game. Although, to be fair though, is the fact that this also still applies to the original game as well. Because, you know, we'll probably point it out whenever we're able to dive right in. So either way though, let's go ahead and open up this particular door, which does requires 3 power stars in order able to actually get to this area. And, well, we'll immediately hop onto Cool Mountain. And of course, the first mission we have is Slip Sliding Away. So, of course, we need to hop onto this little, we have to go inside the chimney of that specific hut over there. So that way we can able to actually just, well, what else? Do another slide. So, because of that, except the fact that we're now going to be able to do it with the actual icy kind of slide. So, because of that, though, yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same thing as the forms of how it does in on the, well, Princess Peach's Castle's secret slide mission. And in fact, you can also just manage to take a shortcut too by able to not only just grab some couple of coins, but also 2 extra lives if you'd be curious to able to actually obtain those. So either way though, more power to you if you're about to be able to actually go that way. So because of that though, and that way when you go all the way down to the actual very bottom, then basically you get yourselves the power stars. So yeah, not too shabby for the most part for the sake of this whole entire mission. So but anyway, so it looks like we actually got 27 coins so far in terms of Cool Mountain. Now we need to head back in there again and do the next mission. So, Il Penguin Lost. So, or Al Penguin Lost, or I can't really pronounce that very well, I do apologize for that. So either way though, to be expected, we need to grab a penguin and then we have to take him down. But if you use Yoshi, this will not accessible with Yoshi, because otherwise if you dare eat the penguin, basically you'll be forced to spit the penguin out, just because. So specifically, that we need to acquire a Mario cap in order able to actually do that particular mission. But, since I'm going to be playing as Yoshi for the time being, for the sake of this particular portion of this level, I'm also able to try to go ahead and try to deal with the, well, not only for the 100 coin Power Star mission, but also the red coin mission there as well. So because of that though, yeah, we'll save the penguin fella until for later on, just because that will be important until the next mission. So yeah, basically all you have to do is basically is that we have to, like, well, you know what I mean. So yeah, today's day is of course the 5th of March today, in this case in 2021. Not much else to talk about, apart from the fact that, well, it wasn't until when I discovered that recently, for about 3 days ago in the UK release, of the forms of Mario Party 9 has been turned to 9 years old. Get it? Because, you know, the actual game title I mentioned, Mario Party 9, that came out 9 years later now. Or to be more specifically, that game has been out for 9 years now, so because of that though, I can't even believe that until specifically next year in 2022, that also means is the fact that I'm pretty dang sure that the game itself, Mario Party 9, will be out for a decade ago. Well, to be more specifically, when it gets to 2022. Which also say applies to the forms of the 5 years old release of Mario Party the Top 100. Despite the fact that most people seem to find that game a bit disappointing compared to the forms of any other Mario Party games in the past. But sure enough though, we'll be back on for more of Mario Party, well, to be more specifically until tomorrow. I'm about able to finishing up Mario Party 3 tomorrow. And then after we're done with that, we can pretty much moving on to Mario Party 4, the first Mario Party game on the GameCube. But hopefully with a much more better quality than the forms of how it does it back in 2012. So, you know what I mean, what I'm going to talk about. Well, I'll let Tiana will mention about that until whenever we get into Mario Party 4 at some point in April, along with the forms of, well, let's just say the last Rayman Raving Rabbids game in the entire Wii game trilogy-wise. Oh god, that was close. I almost gonna get myself screwed over and I have to do the entire collectathon all over again, but luckily I am perfectly safe, so kudos to my skills, I suppose. Kudos to my skills. So, anyway though, well, usually relatively speaking, oh yeah, we got ourselves an L there, so that way we can able to go back up higher a lot more faster too. So because of that though, you could do, you know, two different methods to able to go up to the top of the cool mountain. You can either go onto the, you know, the teleportation spot, or you can able to actually just hang on to the L, and then, well, if you find a good spot to able to drop down from, then obviously you would able to do that. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna have to like draw myself from down there, because I get the feeling that this might be the place for able to actually grab the next two, or actually kind of think about it, the next 3 red coins, or 2 to be more specifically. So either way though, before we get onto that though, we need to grab the 100 coin power star, as you can see, so at least we got that sorted. So now let's just go ahead and deal with the red coin mission. So, again, I know it seems a bit out of order in terms of the missions order, but let's face it, much like in our Let's Play of Super Mario 64 back in 2016, specifically the original version of the game, not counting the forms of the 3D All-Stars compilation, basically is the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, yeah, it's only like 3 red coins on that specific spot, I don't know. I know it has been a couple of days since I actually did manage to able to get back into this game at least, because you know how recently that Fiona, she's pretty much continued things on her Let's Play of Pokemon Snap so far, just because of, you know, the new Pokemon Snap is going to be on its way on Nintendo Switch. So either way though, because chances are, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that specific stuff though, kind of think about it. But I digress. So, another thing it's worth noting for is the fact that with the forms of the release of the DSi XL that usually came out in the UK version, came out in 2010, so usually relatively speaking, that particular console, well, to be more specifically in the UK version, has been out for 11 years. So, yeah, I can't even believe time really does fly, doesn't it? And also, until when it gets to the point until 20 days time, that the Nintendo 3DS will become a decade old in the UK. Well, technically it already did in the Japanese version of the 3DS, which I silly remembered that back in the day, that is, in 2011, but I was so desperate able to get it at launch. But unfortunately speaking though, is the fact that the 3DS's launch is pretty miserable, mainly due to the fact that, well, the only thing that Nintendo only gave us is, of course, Nintendogs and Cats, which is a kind of a cool thing for some distractions, and also Pilot Wings Resort. So that might be the only first-party titles they actually got. But at least they got some decent third-party supportive games, mainly with like Rayman 3D, which is actually based off from the Dreamcast version of Rayman 2 The Great Escape, despite the fact that the frame rate is actually a lot worse than the forms of the superior Dreamcast release. And also is that Super Monkey Ball 3D, despite it's pretty short, and also the amount of content is bare bones, mainly due to the fact that we've only just got 3 modes, and that's pretty much about it. And also, Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, despite the fact that I no longer have the 3DS version of Super Street Fighter 4, I've no idea why I just managed to able to sell that to begin with. Mainly it's because I was pretty much going to be hyped for upcoming games during some time now, even though I was attempting planning to get Street Fighter Anniversary Collection on the Switch. But, unfortunately though, I didn't get enough chance to do so. So, either way though, whatever though, because either way though, although don't get me wrong, I actually really enjoy Street Fighter as it is, But unfortunately, relatively speaking, it's the fact that I just have no idea what I was going to be able to play it properly, so... But anywho, for that particular previous mission I've already done, as you can tell, is the mission's name is Frosty Slide for 8 red coins. So, yeah, all these 8 red coins are always going to be the outside portion of that specific world. So, either way though, there's not much else to say. So, either way though, now let's go ahead and deal with the forms of the Illa Penguin Lost mission once again. But let's do it for reals. So, because of that though, again, we need to acquire Mario for this. But since we're going to be able to use the Mario cap, since we're going to be still playing as Yoshi on this particular mission, well, if you couldn't tell from that particular voice clip coming from the forms of Yoshi himself. So, in this case, we're going to have to able to carefully try to carry the baby penguin, the correct baby penguin, to the actual mama. So, because of that though, we need to be very careful not to get screwed up. Especially noticeable, if you manage to able to get hit by an enemy, then you will lose your Mario's cap. So, because of that though, just be very careful. So, okay, so I think we're almost there now. So, it's just one last drop, and I think we'll be okay as it is, despite the fact that that baby penguin is almost gonna go close towards the edge. But let's not let him do that. So either way though, there you go, Mama Penguin. So that way you weren't able to give me the precious Power Star. So that's always swell. Just like the forms of how it does in the original version of the game. So including the 3D All-Stars version, despite the fact there was actually a Shindu edition. So anyway, so that does it for that, and then let's go ahead and move on to the next mission. So, and of course, much like the forms of, actually I'll get into more now in a second, because the next mission we have is Big Penguin Race. And to be expected, we need to hit into that specific chimney thing once again, just like in the first mission, except now we need to race against with this particular penguin fella. So either way though, let's go ahead and race. However, here's the catch though, is the fact that if you dare use the shortcuts, then the mission itself will not be accomplished. So keep that in mind. Especially noticeable that you always have to do this the normal way, because again, that if you use the shortcuts, then it will not count. So just keep your heads up. So, I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this as well, that I suppose that Tiana has already mentioned about this ever since, or did I somehow mention about this before? I think so. That, you noticed about the fact that the Nintendo Switch has been out for about 4 years now, which is pretty cool and pretty satisfying, honestly, because even then though, since that the Nintendo Switch has been doing so well these days, certainly a lot more better than the forms of how it does it on the Wii U sales-wise, mainly due to the fact that, well, what's pretty much successful for the Switch at the moment is, of course, marketing strategies, and also due to the forms of certain commercials is actually pretty good. Well, certainly a lot more better than the Wii U set of commercials though, but that's how it is for me. Anyways, next mission we have is Snowman's lost his head. So for this mission right here is the fact that we need to able to guide the snowman's body, and then just trying to able to guide the body to its lost head. So because of that though, we're able to do that anyway. So even then though, just like in the original game, that's basically we need to slide down all the way to that specific portion. So overall, it's not too bad of this mission though, so he's gonna have to rely on the forms of a very, very good angle see when you're able to slide your way down all the way up to the forms of Snowman's head. So you probably get the idea how this goes. So if you're trying to walk all the way over here, then you watch the actual Snowman's body come all the way down, and then every once in a while it will just go on top onto the actual standing position, and the Snowman's head will now start to smile. So, and that way we'll get ourselves another Power Star. Pretty fine and dandy, and pretty awesome at the same time when you accomplish certain things like that. And especially noticeable that I seem to do not die so far, for the sake of this Let's Play so far, which is convenient, because obviously, since we actually did manage to breezily win for this game for almost instant. So, next mission we have is Mario's Super Wall Cake. However though, since as you can see on the bottom screen portion of this particular capture screen, unfortunately though, the Mario's cap is nowhere to be found. However though, what I'm gonna do right here is the fact that I will try to able to activate the Bob-Omb Cannon. So that way, if I was going to able to unlock Mario at some point, then I would be able to actually come back into this mission. So because of that though, yeah, we'll probably do that quickly. So because of that though, seems to be more specifically though, is the fact that, talking of which though actually, is the fact that I'm pretty sure that Tiana has already mentioned about this ever since in a new, ever since in Pokemon Snap Let's Play, that obviously since that we already got ourselves some new announcements in regards to the forms of, you know, Pokemon's 25th anniversary game announcements, mainly with like, you know what I mean, the new Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes that are now existence, and also new Pokemon Snap trailer, and even especially noticeable with the biggest game of the entire announcement, which appears to be by the forms of Pokemon Legends, Arceus. But then again though, I'm pretty sure that Tiana has already mentioned about loads of things about these three specific game announcements already, so let's not get deep into that at the moment. So, as you can see on screen, we're now going to be ended up on the forms of some sort of like a new course that is actually introduced in Super Mario 64 DS. And obviously, it's almost like a tropical setting environment, as you can see. So, in this particular stage, obviously the objective is pretty simple, much like the forms of how it does it in well, let's just say, for instance, that we still need to able to grab all 5 of those silver stars, and then once you've done so already, then you would able to actually obtain a power star like so. So because of that though, we can able to expect this much. So anyway, so we'll let the actual the power stars show up, and hopefully we'll try to obtain the power star like so. And I think, as far as if I recall correctly though, is the fact that the actual stage itself is actually called Sunshine Isles, which, according to the forms of that specific Wikipedia's name, it does more likely represent the forms of the Super Mario Sunshine vibe. But anyway, oh no, I lost the keys to Princess Toadstool's secret drawer. She's going to chew me out big time. Will you find the keys for me, Yoshi? This is just between you and me, but you can open the drawer when you have a key. The drawer leads to a rec room where Princess Toadstool used to play games as a child. When you find a key, you can go inside and play more mini-games. Just select rec room from the title screen to play. Okay, that sounds a little bit more obvious. The newest feature in this remake is of course the actual mini-games based off on the forms of the touchscreen controls, which I'll show that off once we're done with the main game first. So anyway, oh, we got ourselves a picture of Mario over there, which meaning that it does require 8 power stars in order to able to go ahead and get actually access to this new area. So in this case, welcome to this forest nature environment, as you can see. Now, of course, we do need to rescue Mario somehow, so either way, though, there's not much else we can do outside from the forms of trying to go ahead and make our way towards the top, because obviously we didn't actually access to every single characters just yet, but hopefully we will do at some point in the future portions of this Let's Play, so, don't worry, we'll get into that eventually. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and, keep on moving forward, and then eventually just trying to dodge a lot of Goombas every once in a while, and hop into this little hole over there, and we can fight, I'm pursuing the next new fight. Wahaha! I'm no ordinary Goomba. I am Goomboss, the great Goomba, the great Pooh-Bah Goomba. That Mario always stomps on us, but now the tables have turned. I locked him up in a room. I bet he's crying like a baby. I have no business with you, so scram. There's no way a prehistoric wimp like you could beat my stupendous stomps. So anyways though, here's the forms of the new boss fight type, which appears to be body forms of Goomboss, which apparently he does make a comeback ever since in Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64. Except the fact that rather than calling him Goomba King, so he usually calls it Goomboss from now on. So, and by the way, if you manage to able to actually like eat up the enemy for a long amount of time with Yoshi, in addition to able to actually use the Goombas as projectiles to able to attack him, if you're eventually able to actually eat up the Goomba for a long amount of time, basically you weren't able to get Yoshi's egg as a projectile, so that way you can able to toss it on certain enemies, including boss fights as well. So even then though, something's worth noting for, and easily this is one of the easier fights as well. So you're just gonna have to keep on aiming into its back, and then you obviously have to do it like 3 times, and that's all you really have to do in this fight. Although, unlike in one of those boss fights, the new types of bosses we're going to be coming across into in the future, it gets a bit tough though. Well, except for the forms in the next one coming up, but towards at the end of the game, it does get pretty tricky though, which we'll point it out whenever we get into it, so... Anyways though, so let's go ahead and deal with this last hit on Goomba, and oh jeez, that was close, but we hit him just in time. Beaten by a pipsqueak like you? How did that happen? Is it just the Goomba's fate to lose? I have Mario locked up in the room, you know? This key won't open the door to his room. I still can't believe you beat me. Well, yeah. So there he goes, in terms of the Goombas, as he explodes, completely filled to the brim with those Goombas, by the way. And eventually we get ourselves a Mario key, so that way we can now finally manage to play as Mario for the sake of the majority of the adventure. So, yeah, it has been quite a long journey, doesn't it? Even though we've only got 29 Power Stars so far as Yoshi, so God knows of how many Power Stars we can able to possibly get if we manage to able to unlock Mario at long last. So, because after all, the main title of the game is of course Super Mario 64 DS. So yeah. And there he is, right here. You've rescued Mario. Now you can smash Bowser in style. Red caps are everywhere, so even then though, yeah, we can able to actually just do, well, no need to worry about just trying to able to select Yoshi the whole way through. Even though we might still occasionally trying to able to switch characters every once in a while, specifically whenever we go on to the later missions, because it seems pretty obvious at this point. So anyways, let's hop right back on to the previous worlds, starting with Womp's Fortress. In this case, the final mission we're going to be doing with in Womp's Fortress, which is of course Switch Star of the Fortress. So because of that though, yeah, it does require Mario, by the way, for this mission, because he was the only one who can able to smash the blocks. Even though originally I was gonna able to do this from earlier ago, but I've decided to able to actually do this the normal fashion way for some reason. But even then though, Let's Players attempt to do things a little bit more differently like I do. So, anyways, all you have to do is basically you have to make your way to that specific glass container, which contains the Power Star itself, or to be more specifically, the Switch Star, and then if you manage to make it there in the nick of time, then you would obtain it. So, anyway, so now we've actually got ourselves 30 Power Stars, so in this case we can now able to actually access this next area, but let's not worry about that right now, just because, well, again, we barely just got started for the majority of the adventure so far, so because of that though, yeah, let's just go ahead and, okay, quick error right there, because I somehow realized about something, is that rather than going on to Bob-omb Battlefield though, just because, well, much like the forms of Super Mario 64, the original game, we do need to require a special kind of power-up or anything else like that. So because of that though, yeah, let's head back onto Cool Mountain again, and hopefully trying to do Mario's Super Wall Kick mission for reals. So, and after all, we've actually already, activated the forms of a Bob-omb Canyon already, for Yoshi anyway. Well, since I actually play as Yoshi on that specific segment. And now we can able to do the mission as normal, as Mario. So because of that though, he's the only one who can able to do it. So, anyways, let's go ahead and use the cannon and try to blast our way from, I would say, this particular bit right there. And thankfully we can able to hang on to the tree, and then, well, we can continue as normal. So, yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy and everything else like that. So either way though, we'll just keep on jumping for a while, and, well, just keep on just, you know, long jumps, and hopefully we'll do some wall kicks. So, or to be more specifically, wall jumps in particular, so... And there's the main differences between the forms of the original counterpart of this mission compared to the forms of the remake, is that, you know, in the original game, that usually the path itself is like, really thin. whilst in the forms of the DS remake, well, they somehow managed to change up a bit slightly, which you probably know what I mean whenever we're able to get all the way up to the top. So as you can tell, I'm having a bit of a struggle just trying to do well-timed perfect jumps and what have you. So yeah, that path right there is actually a lot more wider in comparison to the forms of the original version this time around. I'm guessing it's mainly because it makes things a little bit easier for you if you're having a hard time in the original game, so I guess that makes it a little bit obvious. So, but since that we only got one power star left in terms of Cool Mountain, so this means we can't go back there anytime soon. Because of that though, let's just go ahead and move on to this next bit. In this case, we need to do some sort of like a first-person view, and basically we're gonna have to able to go and deal with the next secret course in a Princess Peach's Castle's secret power stars, as you can see. And obviously, much like the original version of this particular stage, obviously we need to grab all 8 red coins, and then if you've done that, then you would able to success for this mission. So I believe the entire environment itself is called question mark switch. And what do I mean by that? Well, unfortunately though, I seemed able to miss out those 2 red coins, as you can see right there. But after all though, I could probably try to go ahead and try to do the second attempt on this particular mission, but thankfully though, I don't able to lose an extra life if I did somehow manage to able to fall off, because after all, unlike the regular levels, that if I somehow fell off in the actual world, then basically I'll lose a life. So, and thankfully we managed to activate that switch, so that way it allows me to able to actually access to the wing cap Mario, like in any portion whatsoever. So although there's going to be some slight significant changes this time around, because thanks to the forms of multiple playable characters, although we'll point it out whenever we get into the later progressioning for the sake of this Let's Play itself. So either way though, yeah, let's try this mission again and hopefully we'll able to succeed. So because of that though, definitely a bit trickier, but when you get the hang of this though, and by the way, if you manage to enter this stage as Yoshi, it will not be playable on that particular stage, as you can tell, because obviously Yoshi cannot able to actually utilize the wing cap or anything else like that, which also the same applies for Luigi and Wario, because those 2 other playable characters we're about to be unlocking at some point in the future does manage to have themselves a simultaneous kind of a separate kind of special ability or something, mainly due to the fact that with the forms of that very interesting item that we can able to come across into in the future. So anyways, let's hop back onto the forms of Bob-omb Battlefield for, I think this is actually going to be the final time we're going to be able to explore this place. And because of that though, we'll go ahead and deal with the forms of not only for the 100 coin Power Star mission, but also we're about to be taking care of the forms of the final mission in Bob-omb Battlefield, which is of course Mario Wings in the skies, or from the skies. I have no idea. It has been quite a few days since I actually did manage to able to come back into this game, just because, well, then again, since that Tiana was now working on Pokemon Snap recently, and eventually at some point tomorrow I would able to practically gonna finishing up in terms of well, to be more specifically, Mario Party 3, and at some point next weekend, we can probably hit back onto the Mario Kart series of Let's Plays, but this time around though, we're actually going to be playing the arcade games, thanks to the forms of the Homebrew channel I've actually access to on my Wii. So, that should be exciting for those of you able to be super hyped about this, especially noticeable that no one seemed able to talk about that. Well, some people did, but most of the time though, people just forgot about it. But anyway though, let's just go ahead and trying to able to kick that particular, or trying to kill that Koopa Troopa right there, which if you do, by the way, then you get yourselves 5 coins. To be more specifically, thanks to the blue coin. Yeah, by the way, with those coins, by the way, basically it functions the same way as the forms of the original version, I'm pretty sure. Like, for instance, the yellow coins gives you 1, obviously, and if you grab the red coin, it gives you 2 coins, and if you grab the blue coin, basically you would be able to get yourselves, well, let's just say the forms of 5 coins. So, yeah, something's worth noting for. Especially noticeable if you ever played the original game before. So, yeah, there's not much else to say in terms of differences-wise. So, Anyway, though, another thing is worth noting about, before we are able to actually just to concentrate on the forms of the final, 2 missions, as far as I'm aware, or the final 2 power stars in Bob-omb Battlefield. Potentially speaking, is the fact that, most people seem to complain about the forms of some of these character models do look a bit pixelated at first, but, when we get into the forms of the first Bowser level, which is of course Bowser in a Dark World, then you do realize is the fact that the Bowser's model in the DS remake feels a little bit more slightly better than the forms of how it does it on the forms of some sort of like an awkward shape from the likes of the original game. Although, don't get me wrong, the Super Mario 64's visuals still looks pretty good, even to this day, but it might be a little bit too much dated nowadays, especially noticeable that most people complain about you know what I mean when it comes to Super Mario 3D All-Stars compilation. Like, they can't be bothered to able to actually remake the actual game again, but this time on the forms of, well, with HD graphics and all that stuff though, and, you know, trying to fix the camera and everything, but it knows what it is though, because even then though, it's just about the fact that I blame on the virus for that, just because, well, it just ruins everything, so... Oh yeah, we have ourselves the Mega Mushroom right here, which is not found in the forms of the original version of the game. Even though technically this is actually the returning power-up ever since in the forms of well, obviously since when they first introduced the Mega Mushrooms from the likes of Mario Party 3, from the likes of the Toadstool Titan minigame, as well as the forms of, well, the Mega Mushroom item for Mario Party 4. So speaking of Mario Party 4 actually, is the fact that obviously that will be up until specifically next month. So because of that though, that's why we decided able to take a break on Mario Party from now on until likely next month. And then, well, after when I finish up with Mario Party 3 tomorrow. And, we're able to try to deal with the next Mario Kart along the way until God knows if Nintendo were able to make another new Mario Kart game, which is specifically... Mario Kart 9, if it eventually will happen, because I was really hoping that's the case, because obviously we haven't got a brand new Mario Kart game, at least specifically the main Mario Kart game, since, well, technically the port to this Switch, 8 Deluxe, doesn't count, because it's more accurately the exact same game as the Wii U version, aside from, adjustable fixes in terms of the, well, the loading times, as well as the forms of the item system, and the menu design is actually a lot better on the Switch, and plus it's more of a replayability than the likes of the Wii U version, to me though anyway, just because, well, obviously the Wii U is dead and everything, which, ironically, for I've noticed something, that I'm pretty sure Tiana has already discovered this as well, that apparently the Wii U actually contains the next update, apparently, out of nowhere. And this time around though, the Wii U now got themselves 5.5, version 5.5.5 in that specific update, which as a result, I'm just like, that's a bit weird at first. But anyway though, so, and as you can see, since we actually did manage to break that particular question mark block that we've already activated since the question mark switch level, and this means we can now able to actually grab the feather, which allows Mario to able to, what else, utilize the wing cap, and functions the same way as how it does in the original game for sure, like you can able to actually fly and everything. So because of that though, and it does requires Mario for able to utilize this particular power-up, because otherwise if you use Yoshi, Luigi, or Wario, some things were able to actually be a little bit slightly different, because, well, again, we'll point it out whenever we get onto the forms of the later parts throughout the whole entire Let's Play of Super Mario 64 DS. So, anyway, so let's grab the 100 coin power star right here, and we are good to go for this point. And now let's go ahead and mainly focusing on the last power star on this world. And, well, we're basically done here. So, of course, one of those missions has been not present in the DS version, and that is, of course, shoot from the other island kind of mission, which it only exists in the original version of Super Mario 64. Like, if you blast all the way from that particular island over there, you do realize there wasn't any yellow exclamation mark block in there somewhere, as you can see, because obviously, because this is a remake of the original Super Mario 64, this also means is the fact that some of these missions will be replaced, and some of them actually has new missions how they managed to introduce into ourselves, thanks to the forms of new playable characters, and you name the rest, which again we'll discuss more about that. It's all specifically on every Mondays, every Wednesdays, and every single Fridays in terms of uploading schedules alike, and you name the rest. So in this mission right here, Mario Wings from the Sky, basically all you have to do is basically you have to bypass for that little coin of rings, as you can see, and then basically you have to obtain 5 of those coins specifically in the middle with those ring of coins basically, and if you accomplish that just like in the original game, then you would able to actually do that mission no problem. So, and I think that pretty much wraps it up everything in terms of Bob-omb Battlefield. Then again though, we'll come back onto the forms of Jolly Roger Bay, along with the forms of, well, of course, Cool Mountain at some point in the future. So because of that though, yeah, I think seemingly to say we got the endings off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario 64 DS, is that we're going to be moving on to the next world, which I think the next world we're going to be hop into is Big Boo's hut, and get some more Power Stars. So I'll see you guys until on Monday. Later, fellas.